Hi students, my name is Ruchika. Welcome to the English Academy. Class 12th, Kaleidoscope, short story, I Sell My Dreams by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I'll tell you about the author, explanation and summary of the story. Gabriel Garcia Marquez was born in 1927 in the town of Arcataca in Colombia. As his parents were struggling, he was brought up by his grandparents. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in the year 1982. The most prominent works of Gabriel are Love in the Time of Cholera and 100 Years of Solitude. This story is based on magical realism, which mixes fantasy with reality. Magical realism portrays magic or unreal elements as a natural part in an otherwise realistic or mundane environment. Explanation of I Sell My Dreams. One morning at 9 o'clock. So this is the setting of the story. The author tells us that he was having breakfast on the terrace. Terrace is the rooftop of the Havana Riviera Hotel. This is the name of the hotel, which is situated in Havana, that is Cuba. It was very bright and sunny, and suddenly a huge wave picked up several cars that were driving down the avenue. Avenue here is a street along the sea wall. Sea wall is a wall which marks the boundary between the sea and the land. The main purpose of a sea wall is to prevent the sea from coming on over to the land. And other vehicles which were parked on the pavement, that is the side of the road, the sea wave was so strong that it embedded. Embedded means to set firmly. It embedded a car which was parked on the side of the road. Further, the author tells us that it was like an explosion of dynamite. Now, dynamite is an explosive substance, so this sea wave that swept over was as powerful as an explosion. It sowed panic on all the 20 floors of the building. Now, the building here is this hotel where the author is having his breakfast. He says that all the people on the 20 floors of this hotel were panic-stricken due to this loud sound. The entire entrance window of the hotel was full of dust. Further, the author tells us the many tourists in the lobby here is the entrance hall, they were also thrown into the air. So the impact was so strong that all the people were flying in the air. So people were cut. They had wounds on their body because all the glass that was there on the windows had fallen on them just like a hailstorm. Immense means something which is very strong because it jumped over the two-way street. That means it was very wide. The wave overtook that road and it landed up to the hotel also. And it still had the force to shatter. Shatter means break the glass. Then the author tells us that there were Cuban volunteers. Volunteers are people who are willing to come forward and act. So they volunteered to pick up the debris, that is the remains of all the vehicles and all the broken things. And in less than 6 hours, all the area had been cleaned off and sealed off the gate to the sea. Sealed off means the gate to the sea had been closed. So everything had returned to normal. But they had not noticed the car that had been encrusted. Encrusted here means that had been set in the wall, as the people thought that it was one of the cars that had been parked on the pavement. And when they removed the car from the wall, they found that there was a woman's body lying inside the car. The author describes her. He says the blow had been so brutal. Brutal here means cruel. He tells us her face was destroyed, her boots had been torn into pieces, and her clothes were in shreds. Shreds here means finely cut. She was wearing a gold ring, and he describes the ring. He says it was shaped like a serpent. You can see here in the picture It was like in the shape of a coiled snake, and the snake had emerald eyes. Now, emerald is a typical green color. So, the eyes of that snake were emerald in color. The police verified and they came to know that she was working with the Portuguese ambassador and his wife. Further, the author tells us that he was intrigued, means curious or interested, by the ring, the snake ring, and the emerald eyes. The author recalls someone who used to wear this ring. This information was very important for him because he feared that he knew this woman who was wearing this similar ring. He had met her 34 years ago when she was sitting and eating food in a tavern. Tavern is a restaurant or an inn, which is a public house. Now, this tavern was frequented by Latin American students. So, as this author also belongs to Colombia, so students from that area who were living in Vienna, they used to visit this tavern. Now, he is going into the background. The author tells us that that particular day he had returned from Rome, and he says that he still recollects that he had seen this lady who had a splendid, now splendid here means very different, high-pitched voice, and she had a weak and fragile foxtail on her coat collars. He also remembers the Egyptian kind of a ring which was in the shape of a snake. Then he tells us that when he talked with the lady, he came to know she was not Austrian and she had been born in Colombia just like the author. She tells him that she had moved to Vienna from Colombia when she was as little as a child to study music and voice. So she just wanted to learn singing, and that's why she had moved to Vienna. The author tells us that she was a charming person, although she was not very pretty, and she was one of the most awe-inspiring, that means extraordinary or amazing. Further, he tells us that Vienna was an old imperial city. Imperial here means relating to an empire. So there was a king whose geographical position between the two irreconcilable here means opposing. So two things which are opposite to each other. Irreconcilable worlds left behind by the Second World War had turned it into a paradise of black marketing and international espionage. A paradise means a heaven or a home of God. Then the author says that she was also a fugitive, that means a refugee, and compatriot here means a fellow citizen of the same country. So he says that there was not a spot more suitable for her to be than to be in the particular tavern which was visited, which was frequented by students from her own country. And it was out of loyalty, that is a feeling of bondage with her country, that she would frequent this place for her meals. The students over there did not know her name and they nicknamed her as Frau Freda. Then the author says he committed the happy impertinence. Impertinence here means lack of respect or rudeness, of asking how she had come in a world so distant and different from the windy cliffs of Quindio. Now, Quindio is a particular town or a particular area in Colombia to where this lady belongs, and she has moved to Vienna, which is a city. So the author asks her that why has she moved from that place to Vienna? And she answered with a devastating, means something which is very shocking. She told him that I sell my dreams. The author comes to know that this is her only profession. As a child, she was the third of the 11 children born to a prosperous shopkeeper in Caldas. Caldas is also another town in Colombia. And when she had just started speaking, her family discovered that she had a fine quality of telling her dreams before breakfast. Then she tells the author that one morning she had dreamed of her brother being carried away by flood. So her mother, being very strict and thinking that her daughter had very good predictive qualities, forbade her son from going near the water, from swimming in the water. But this little girl had a different system of prophecy. Prophecy means prediction of the future. What she said the dream meant was not that her brother should remain away from water, but that he should not eat sweets. Her young brother, little boy of 5 years, thought her interpretation to be very evil. Why he thought that was because he loved having sweets on Sundays, which was his routine. He secretly ate a piece of caramel and he nearly choked. There was no way to save him. So, from this incident, Frua is trying to tell her that her predictions, her dreams were very commendable, they were very true. Then she tells the author that she did not think that she could earn a living with her talent until life caught her by the throat during the cruel Viennese winters. Now, this sentence means that she was in a life-threatening situation. She was very desperate to get a job for herself. So, the first home where she went seeking a job, it was a very religious and a superstitious family. They believed in irrational talks, and the woman was very passionate. She had strong feelings for music. So they gave her a job, and what she had to do, her only duty was to predict their daily future through her dreams. And in return for that, she got some money to meet her minor expenses. They gave her a decent room to live in, and she got 3 meals a day. So the breakfast was the most important meal of the day because it was at that time that the entire family sat to listen to her predictions through her dreams. Further, Frua tells the author that the master, her employer, he died and he was very good as he left behind a part of his estate for her. He was in Vienna for more than a month and he lived there with other students under poverty-stricken conditions. So they did not have much of money, and while they waited for money which never arrived. Further, he says that the woman's unexpected and generous visits. Now this lady had enough money, so whenever she visited the tavern, she was very generous for the other students, and that time was like a fiesta, which means a celebration or a festival in the otherwise poverty-stricken regime. One night in a beery euphoria. Euphoria is an intense excitement. So when this lady was very high, she whispered into the ears of Gabriel that she had dreamed of him, that he should leave Vienna and not return for 5 years. She spoke with so much of conviction. He left Vienna the same night and he went to Rome. Before this disaster in Havana, he had met her in Barcelona, that is Spain. It was the same time when Pablo Neruda, he had also stopped in Spain midway on his journey. So Pablo was going to Valparaiso in Chile and he had stopped in Barcelona. Over there the author met him, and at that same time he met Frua once again. So he tells us that Pablo went to a second-hand bookshop and he bought a book for a huge sum of money, and he moved through a crowded street as if he was very ill, and he looked at everything very curiously, just like a little child. Further, the author tells us that Pablo Neruda was very gluttonous. Gluttonous means a person who eats or consumes immoderate or unusual amount of food and drink. So as he was gluttonous, his wife would dress him in a huge bib like the one at the barber shop in order to prevent him from bathing in the sauces that he ate. So that day they had dinner at Carvalieras. So this is the name of a restaurant, and the dinner was very typical. They ate seafood. The author tells us that different foods were sourced from different places, like they ate clams from Galicia, mussels from Cantabria, prawns from Alicante, sea cucumbers from Costa Brava. Then the author tells us that as he was very fond of food, Pablo discussed his culinary delicacies, and in particular the shellfish of Chile, which was his favorite. As they were eating, suddenly Pablo stopped and he told the author that he felt someone was looking at him from behind. So the author looked over his shoulder and he saw that a woman, he says an intrepid woman, Intrepid over here means fearless and adventurous. So this woman in an old-fashioned felt hat and a purple scarf, she was eating very fast and she was staring at the author Pablo. So Gabriel recognized her. She was Frau Freda with the snake ring on her index finger. So he recognized her again from the ring on her finger. He came to know that she was also traveling on the same ship, just like Pablo and his wife. She was traveling from Naples. They invited her over to have coffee, and he encouraged her to talk about her dreams in order to astound the poet Pablo. But Pablo was not interested in listening to her predictive dreams, as he felt that only poetry is clairvoyant. Clairvoyant means having the ability to predict the future. After lunch, they had a stroll along the Ramblas. Now, Ramblas here is a famous street in Barcelona. So, both the author and Frau Frida, they moved behind the others and they kept on talking about their past, how they had met before also. Now, then the woman tells the author that she has moved from Austria to Oporto in Portugal, where she has a big house. So from her talks he comes to know that she has taken over the entire fortune of her ineffable patrons in Vienna. Ineffable here means incapable of being described in words. So they were so great that you cannot put it into words. So the author tells the woman that he had always thought her dreams were no more than a stratagem for surviving. Now, stratagem means a plan or a scheme which is used to outwit the opponent or to achieve a particular goal. So, they were very essential, you can say. So, they suddenly stopped walking as the group had also stopped. They were waiting for Pablo to stop talking in Chilean slang to the parrots along the Rambla de lo Pejero, called to be the street of the birds. So the lady tells the author that now he can go back to Vienna, as 13 years had passed since she had predicted him to move out of Vienna. So the author Gabriel tells her that even if your dreams are false, he will never go back. He is trying to tell her that he is so much taken aback by this dream of hers, he still feels afraid of going to Vienna. So the author tells us that when Pablo went for his afternoon nap, he opened some windows and he closed the others. He wanted proper light to come in the room, and all his details were so minor that he felt it was just like a Japanese tea ceremony, which is very detailed. After some time, Pablo returned. The monogram of his pillow was encrusted on his forehead, and he told everyone that he had dreamt of the woman who dreams. His wife asked him that what was his dream, and he told her that the woman was dreaming of him. The author found Pablo's dream to be very funny and very interesting. He says that's right out of Borges. Now Borges is George Louis Borges. He is a famous author. Pablo's dream is just like a labyrinth. Labyrinth here means a maze, something which is very confusing and puzzling. Then the author found Frau Frida on the deck of the ship. During her afternoon nap, she had also dreamt about the poet. And she tells him that she had dreamed that Pablo was dreaming of her. So both of them have similar dreams. Then the author tells us that after the disaster in Havana, he got the opportunity of meeting the woman's Portuguese employer, the ambassador, at a diplomatic reception. So over there, he talked about the woman and he asked the ambassador that what did she do? So the ambassador had a certain disenchantment, which means being free from illusion or false belief. And he said that she dreamed. Summary of I Sell My Dreams. The author recognizes the body of a woman from the peculiar ring that she wore, who died when her car was encrusted in a wall upon being hit by a strong sea wave, as being an old acquaintance. He had first met her 34 years ago at a tavern in Vienna where she worked for a family to predict their near future through her dreams every day. She was a native of Colombia and as a child began predicting her family's future at the breakfast table. She moved to Vienna to learn music and singing during the war. As she was good at her job, her employer left her a part of his estate and later on she acquired the entire property of her employers. She would visit a tavern which was frequented by financially weak students from her native country, and as she was comparatively well off, her visits were not less than a festival. She shared her dream with the author that he must leave Vienna, and she sounded so firm that he left for Rome the same night, never to return. They met again in Barcelona when Pablo Neruda visited on his way to Chile. He was gluttonous, and so his wife dressed him in a bib as big as a barber's bib. She had settled in Oporto, Portugal. Pablo was not interested in listening to her dreams. For him, only poetry was predictive. During their afternoon nap, both Pablo and the woman dreamt of each other, dreaming of each other. This was as confusing as a maze to the author. After the Havana disaster, the author chanced upon a meeting with her employer, the Portuguese ambassador, who commented about her that she dreamed. Thank you and do subscribe to English Academy.